Hi guys, this is Kayla. I'm going to be taking you through the final product that we have for our Blu Diagnostics app. So the first page you're going to be seeing, this is the notification that users will be getting whenever it's time for them to log their information into the app. And then this is the icon that we'll be seeing for the app when it's on your phone. We really focused on Apple products for this demonstration, but it may look slightly different on Android products. This is what the loading screen is going to be looking like for any time that a user is going from page to page. And then we have our first sign up page. So this is I'm going to be taking you through the registration process rather than login for somebody's first time. So obviously we have the first and last name, the email, the username, and the password. And what may be most important here is the username, because we are very conscious of people's sensitivity when it comes to their privacy, especially since this is a medical device app. So we want to make sure that they feel comfortable and use the username to be used in public. Next, this registration page is going to be going into the product itself. So if somebody has the product, they'd be entering the serial number and going on to the next page. But if somebody doesn't have the product, they get the chance to learn some more information about what it is, as well as buying the product. If they decide they do not wish to do so, but wish to continue on, they have the opportunity to do so with the skip option on the top right. So all of these questions that we're going through in the registration process has been gathered from our expert interviews, as well as our interview with your team on what is important when it comes to learning about a woman's fertility and the things that we need to know in order to give her the best, most accurate readings. So first, of course, is the age, since that does play a very large factor when it comes to a woman's fertility. I'd also like to point out that as we go through the process, you're going to be seeing a lot of blue and a lot of circles, and that's because for our design, we really wanted to be brand loyal, and that means really going off of your team's logo. So a lot of the questions kind of go into are a little bit more cute when it comes to this. You know, if you see sorry to ask, how much do you weigh? We just wanted to be a little bit more playful when it comes to our questions. This is serious enough of a topic, a woman going through this process. So we want to make sure that when she's on the app, she doesn't feel overburdened, and it's just an easy and sort of playful, casual process as she kind of moves around in the app. So again, a photo, it really just comes to their privacy and how much they want to do, so they can skip. As well as for setting up account, this is a very important page because, of course, the product itself is very timely when somebody enters in their information, but in the end, it is up to them whether they will allow notifications or not. So again, we're on the loading screen here as the information is gathered. But for the rest of the product, we're going to go through as if somebody had already registered, entered in their information. So we're going to be seeing some filled out pages. So when somebody has a product, they're going to be going, when they first log in, automatically to the dashboard section. If somebody does not have the product, has not registered with the product, they'd be going to either the education or community page. The dashboard section would not be available to them. Instead, there would be sort of a call to action to entice them to purchase the product. But ultimately, the dashboard, it heavily relies, obviously, on somebody having the product to be able to interact with it. So for this purpose, we have this going straight to the dashboard for our presentation. And on the dashboard here, you can see somebody being told that they need to log their daily information, the information from the product, from their spit analysis has already been updated and input it into the app, so it's time for them to finish filling out their information. So first, what we're going to be seeing here is the log section and the My Trends section. So the log section kind of goes into the information they obviously have to log. My Trends is all the data analysis, which we'll go into next. You can do it by day. The estradiol and progesterone is entered automatically from the product. So this is kind of all going through on today's when they are asked to enter their information. All of these buttons are clickable for cervical mucus, physical symptoms. It gives users the opportunity to select more than one with a plus option on the side. I'd also like to point out sort of the icons kind of give a little more imagery. It's a little more design meant for user-friendly. Option to enter your body temperature, and then same for the lifestyle. The use of emojis, images just makes it a little bit more easier for the user rather than having to enter in the information themselves. Now, the last option on this page is the More section, and that kind of goes into a little bit more information. This was really inspired by one of our users who found no way to enter information when she had a miscarriage. But at the same time, we want them to be able to enter in that information, but they're not having that on a daily basis. So they shouldn't have to see it on a daily basis. So that's kind of a bit more hidden. So in the My Trend section, this is all the analysis that's gathered from your logs. This goes by days, by weeks, by months, 2 months, etc. All the graph on top kind of can go into different sections, all laid out by your different cycles, so menstruation and follicular cycles. And then as we go further down, you get the opportunity to get some more in-depth analysis on each section. So for example, we see the estradiol. So again, we are focusing on this week's analysis, all your results and what it means, and then probably most importantly, but the next steps that you can take with this. So it's really getting users to be more active in their own fertility and their own health. This section has the opportunity to share, which is incredibly important. So this is being able to share with your partner, with your doctor, with your community, whoever you so choose. Next, we're going to the education section. So all these information that you're seeing in the education section has been approved and submitted by the Blu Diagnostics team because it is incredibly important that all the information on here is factual and it's relevant. There is a lot of misinformation when it comes to the fertility space, and we wanted to make sure that all the education that's going to be on this app is factual for the users. Another really great piece about this section is the Q&A section. So that is where users get the opportunity to ask you and other members on the Blu Diagnostics team's questions. It helps really put a face to your team, as well as kind of bridge that gap that users feel when it comes to interacting on an app, and gives that sense of familiarity and comfort that a user gets when speaking to a doctor instead. So we're really kind of making that connection between the users and the Blu Diagnostics team. So there's the option to search through different education forums. You can add and submit. We'll see that in a second. You can also filter through different topics and types if you so wish. And then as we get back to the page, you'll see sort of the results of that filter. So the plus button here, it gives the users the opportunity, if they see an article or a video or other kind of media platform that they think would be really relevant to the Blu Diagnostics app, they can submit it for review here for your team to review and make sure and approve, as well as the opportunity to submit a question for the Q&A. Next, we'll go over to bookmark, which is pretty self-explanatory. Any post in the education section that a user really enjoys, they can bookmark it, save it, as well as the opportunity to share it, again, similar to the share on the My Trend section, via email, via text, via community. Next, the community page is incredibly important. It gives users the opportunity to connect with people going through similar experiences by specific topics. So again, all of these groups are created by the Blu Diagnostics team in what is most relevant, such as IVF, graph analysis, people trying for the second time, etc. These are all topics that we, in our research, found most useful to our users. So you can search according to different topics, and it filters through groups. So this is what your search results look like. What's incredibly important is you see the community rules. So it's important that we instill this information so we make sure that people are getting the right kind of information in these communities. When you go into a certain group, you see some information on the group, posts relevant to it, etc. You can subscribe to each group and see some more postings. There on the plus section, you have the ability to make your own posts, and from there you select which group that you are a member of that you wish to post to. Next, we're going to check out the following. So this is any groups that you've subscribed to. This is where you can find them. Next, the bookmarks. So these are any posts that, again, you find important. You can bookmark them and find them here. And again, all these posts, you have the option to like or comment on them. And anytime you do so, if somebody posts on you or any kind of similar notification happens, you'll get an alert on the top right by the bell. Lastly, we're going to be checking out our account page. So the first section that it goes to is the product. So some information about the product, but probably also the place to purchase more items. So for example, if somebody already has the product but needs to buy more strips, they can go directly to the store in order to do so. But as somebody that isn't familiar with the product, you can get a lot of information here on what it is, what it does for users, as well as this dashboard section of the app that will be then available to them. Then they are inclined to buy with the call to action color of the purple, as well as the cart on the top right. Next, we're going to check out support. So support gives you the option to connect with the Blu Diagnostics team. It's important that they connect about the product, any questions that they have about the app, as well as information about your company. Since this is a medical device app, and it works with the product, it's important that they feel that they can trust your team. They need to know, information such as FDA approved, HIPAA compliance, etc. And I can find all that information here in the support section. Lastly, we're going to check out the account page. This is where people can find all of the information that they entered earlier. They can edit it. And probably most importantly, if somebody already has the app but didn't have the product to begin with, but has then purchased the product, they can connect it here. So please let me know if you have any further questions. I'd be happy to answer them and walk you through the app once again.